Welcome back to another featured artist spotlight. This week, I'm so excited to introduce you to Michelle Blanton. Welcome, Michelle.
Hi.
So glad to have you on. And Michelle, I'm going to just share a little bit about you and then we'll jump in
Okay.
to your story. I know it will inspire many. So, Michelle is a brush lettering and pointed pen artist based out of Calera, Alabama. And you can find her on Instagram at Letters by Bama Mom. She has been doing lettering all her life, which that's fun. Her dad started her off with her first fountain pen when she was 10 and she got hooked. But you can also find her on Etsy. Her shop is Letters by Bama Mom 474. And so I'm so excited to have you here, Michelle. I know God's just been doing
Thank
so
you.
much in and through you and your creativity. And, I know it'll be inspirational to our audience, but just tell us a little bit first about your art journey. Have you always, known and, that you were an artist, or has this been something that just kind of cropped up more recently?
I think I've always known I was an artist per se. Like I said, my dad would take me way before Staples and Office Max. There was this little store on Main Street called Jones Office Supply. And
Nice.
that was our place. We would go and try out. I remember the day rollerball pens came out. He bought a case. I mean, he went to Sam's once that place, dissolved. He would get a Sam's membership and we would go to the office supply section and we would buy pens by the cases and
Wow.
hunt for fountain pens. And like I say, and I actually have my fountain pen.
Wow.
The last one he got me
Aw.
before he passed in 2012. And so this one's never too far from me. And I
Yeah.
actually enjoy writing Spencerian from a fountain pen. But he
Awesome.
would always, he and my mom would always get me like a praying artist kit. It had like crayons, oil pastels, watercolor, and all this fun stuff. And, then I ended up getting them twice a year because I would get one for Christmas and one for my birthday in April because it was gone by then.
Yeah.
But my mom jokes now, that I spend all this money on supplies, that if she had a nickel for every marker, pen, or pad paper she bought me growing up, she would be a millionaire.
Right.
And it's true. I've always had a thing for textured paper. And I
Mm.
remember in high school writing notes to my friends on vellum and fountain pen.
Oh, fun.
I still have a lot of my class notes that I did on
Oh.
vellum. I mean, I was that kid, but I loved it. And my teachers were just like, "What are you?"
Yeah.
And
You're like,
I'm a
I'm an
big
artist.
yeah. But I never took art other than in elementary school. But I was really good friends, and she just retired. Actually, my elementary art teacher moved to the high school and finished her career out at the high school. And I would always go by there and she's like, Michelle, just take art. And I was like, I'm taking, photography and graphic arts and drafting. I didn't want to limit myself because taking an art class to me was, you know, it'd be fun, but I wanted to expand. And so, yeah, it's always been innate, but I went off to school and I was an English major. And then I met my husband, took 7 years off after we had our 4 babies, and went back, English major, and I took a ceramics class here, a drawing class here, and you know, I could still fit it in on a college level. But then after I graduated, I went into sales, and it was
Oh, wow.
stressful. And about that time in 2012, 14 is when I started seeing brush lettering. Maybe it was like 2012, 2014. By 2015, I was in a stressful position, and brush lettering became a release.
A
And
therapy.
well, I found 30 Days of Bible Lettering on
Yes,
Instagram,
I did the same thing.
and I saw what they were doing, and so I was on a hunt for anything and everything. And so I self-taught myself how to do brush lettering, And when I do my classes, I always take something from 2016, 2017, 2018, and I say, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You know,
Yes.
you're gonna build on what you learn, and the people you meet will influence you. And just keep going, because, you know, I never dreamed at 45 I would be working part-time in an art supply store, the largest in the state of Alabama,
Wow.
teaching classes there, teaching classes at a winery here locally, and then several libraries. So, and then last night I had a friend send me a message, hey, could you do a sips and strokes at my house with 8 of my friends? I'm like, sure. It's, God is so good in the sense of, you know, financially walking away from a full-time salary plus commission job in January was scary, and it's not easy. It's still not easy. But there's little pieces of diamond in this journey that is enough to keep me going. And
Yeah.
so, you know, the joke, not the joke, but the theme in my house is we're building an empire.
Yeah.
So we're working on my art studio office downstairs, which used to be the playroom. My youngest is 16. We don't need a playroom.
Right.
So my husband was putting in a doorway and finishing it out. And I was like, let's take a break. He goes, no, we're building the empire. We have to keep on. And so he's a school teacher, so his summer's off.
Okay.
So we built the empire this week.
Yeah. And I love that because, you know, you had to take that, you know, you took that big step of faith. And I just remember it was like, there's some really hard times, and yet these breakthroughs and these opportunities that are coming as a result of you beginning just to pray and trust God, but also put yourself
Right.
out there. And, you know, now you have an Etsy shop as well.
Yeah.
And so you have multiple streams
Thanks
of,
to you.
yes, yay, multiple streams of income coming
Mm-hmm.
in now as an artist, and in a job that's not as stressful, that's
Mm-hmm.
actually fulfilling and
Fun. I get to play
fun.
art supplies all day and
Yes, I mean,
meet fabulous artists.
yeah, how fun is that? And so, did you ever hesitate though to take your creativity and turn it into a business? Was there any point where you
Oh
were
yeah,
just kind of like,
yeah. Because it's kind of looked at as a fad. And I was watching John Chris has a little wedding thing, and it says, "Oh yeah,
yes,
I heard she, you know, started an Etsy shop. She does brush calligraphy," and then it was something like, I forget what it said, but it's a joke, and it's, you know, I could see that because everybody and their mother, no pun intended, is doing it. But it's like, even now, I don't feel like I've reached that potential.
mm,
And, you know, you never stop learning. And that's what I tell my kids. I'm like, you know, don't let circumstance or other people influence you to what your heart is doing, you know, inside you. And it wants to grow, it wants to learn. And the passage that you and CJ said on about being creative, is it Peter or Mark 4:10?
I'd have to look it up.
I
It
have to
might
look,
be,
but my I based a small group on it this spring on that verse, and we're doing just DIY projects here at my house with, I think I'm up to 7 ladies, and we're just going to create and pray and, you know, enjoy fellowship, and it's all based. And I said, you know, the Lord gave us creativity, some of
yeah,
us more than others, but we'll get it through. You know, we'll have fun and do it. So
yeah,
that hesitation was there, definitely. And it took me, because I really felt since last May a calling. And then I stumbled upon you, and just really didn't have the money to invest into the course, Etsy Entrepreneur, but it was one of those things that I was like, okay, if I don't go out to eat, if I don't have coffee, if I don't have, you know, a couple of little things, I can make it work. And I did. And before I knew it, I had sold like 3 chalkboards and paid for it.
yeah.
So
That's
God
awesome.
knew, and He answered, because that first chalkboard, I didn't advertise. I didn't someone just said, hey, I know you're kind of creative. Can you do a chalkboard for my grandson's first birthday? And I was like, yes. And I priced it way too low, of course.
We all tend to do that in the beginning.
And so, but, like this last week, I did a piece, and it was a 3D multimedia piece, and I set a price, and they didn't blink. And I was like, I think I probably went too low on that. But it was a challenging piece. I had to use modeling clay and some other media on a wooden canvas, impose a photograph, and hand letter a quote on it. And so it turned out great. They loved it. And I put a business card on the inside of the back of it. So we'll see where that goes. But just, having the confidence, I think, is the main thing. Confidence is huge. And if you don't have a supportive team behind you, I got a packing team, a labeling team, a shipping team, and they all live here in this house.
I was going to say, are they the Blanton team?
They are the Blanton bunch.
Blanton bunch. There you go.
So I even have another marketer up in North Alabama. She's marketing me to all of her, sorority friends. So just, you never know who you're going to meet that has unlimited influence on another group of people. And, I did Pampered Chef when I was having the family, and it's, it was my mom time. I could go and have adult time and make money and pay for ballet and a cell phone back then with no data, and a van. But I used to say there's about a 3% of commonality that I share with y'all in the room and that y'all share with each other. And if you think about the population of this county, which is, I forget how big, but if you only know 3%, why wouldn't you have a show and meet 6%? Or, expand, because you never know who you're going to invite that needs the extra income and will pay for, things. It'll be a blessing to them. Yeah. And so that's the first hurdle, in my opinion, is walking away to the safety net of salary plus commission for me, healthcare, insurance, and just living the life that God has, designed for me. And it's hard, but it's so rewarding because I do get to still go to, my job. I mean, I spent 2 hours putting together Frederick easels yesterday. I mean, it's not rocket science. And then, when someone comes in asking about brush calligraphy or pointed pen or paper or, anything like that, they say, oh, hey, Michelle, that's you. You're up.
Yeah. Do a demo. Yeah. It's, you've said a lot of things in there that I think are worth just touching on is, that initially, you said you didn't think that you had the money to invest in Etsy Entrepreneur, but you found ways to say, okay, if I don't have this extra coffee, if I don't go out to eat here, if I don't do this. And I really believe that my husband and I always say, we always find a way to get what we want, typically, unless you're just living in poverty in another, we've been missionaries, so we know that there are people, but typically in the United States, and I understand there's tough times. We've had tough times, but the very first time I invested in a coach, I mean, it was tight and I didn't think I had the money. I took the payment plan and I was like, okay, Lord, it's going to be really tight. We looked for ways to cut back so that we didn't put it on a credit card, but it really made the difference in the shift in my business to where it is today. And so sometimes it takes sacrifice, I guess, is what I heard you saying there. In that, sometimes there's a sacrifice, but then you also talked about having a team and not doing it by yourself. Like, even if you're recruiting your family in the beginning. And, my husband helps me with the shipping in my Etsy shop. And so, having a team and, when you can, getting to the place where you could hire someone for just a couple hours a week, even having a team to support you, and then to just really take advantage of the opportunities that you do have. So when an opportunity opens, take advantage of that opportunity and then see
Yeah.
what will follow up. Like with your chalkboards, you did that first one, and then, you post about it. People start seeing you do it. They want one, and it snowballs into more and more.
Right.
And then
I've got it down to, if someone wants a chalkboard, if I don't have it on hand, I can make one. My husband can frame it, although his labor is really high. And, I'm prepared to take orders on the fly now, which my processing went from 7 to 10 days to 1 to 3 days.
That's awesome. Yeah. And you improve and you learn as you go. But then the other thing I think that is so neat for you is that you've actually built up several, multiple streams of income. So you have your Etsy shop, which you're doing commissions, you have some prints and things, you learned, to do all that. But then you're teaching, you said you were teaching in a library system as well as a winery, as well as now the place where you work.
Right.
Art store. So you have multiple places you're teaching, but then you also have this part-time job at an art store. And so, that could potentially bring different things in, but it's just, one step at a time. And it does take so much courage to put yourself out there. What would you say to an artist if, they're just kind of at the beginning and they're feeling discouraged and things haven't really opened up for them right now? Do you have any advice for them?
I would say, if you're just starting out and you do good work, you accept the compliments. Yeah. It's so hard to accept the compliments because sometimes you think, okay, they just know me and love me anyway.
Right.
They like this. Let me find someone that doesn't know me and doesn't, my mama says I'm delightful, but not everyone else thinks so. So, if I put this in front of a stranger and I say, what do you think? Honest. And I've done that. I've sent my stuff to total strangers that follow me on Instagram. And I've just put myself out there and said, okay, what would you change about this? Would you pay money for this? And I take their feedback to heart. Once you get over that and you build that confidence, go to your local library. Ask them, hey, are you interested in your patrons learning brush lettering, faux calligraphy, something basic? I mean, just the basic strokes to build on other classes. 9 times out of 10, they will say yes if they have it in their budget. Like I have 2 libraries right now that are budgeting my classes into their annual budgets.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's high in demand, and they don't want to lose me. A friend of a friend said, you should really try the winery out by your house. It's less than 2 miles from my house. And I went on the website. I filled out the contact form. Within 20 minutes, the husband had gotten the contact form. The wife called me as she was getting her children and her groceries out of her car and said,
yes.
When can you come? How many times can you come?
Yes.
And I started at 6. Starting June 20th. Once I got those scheduled and on the book, so I had the library, the winery. Then I had, friends that aren't necessarily on Instagram. And so I do have a Facebook page for Bama Mom 474 because, certain people just are not on Instagram or Snapchat. Right. And I do have my daughter send stuff out on Snapchat for me. I do Snapchat every once in a while, but I don't focus on it. So I think once you build a confidence, go out and be your own marketer. Print up some, design your own business cards. Send them to Vistaprint or somewhere. Get them printed and hang those out like confetti. I mean, what do you have to lose?
Exactly. And like you said, one key contact could open up so many things. And I think it's really smart to find strategic partnerships like the winery. People could come, then they have a cup of wine, kind of like the paint and wine like type things with its lettering. And businesses are looking for ways to bring in customers. So if you can bring in customers for them, that's a win-win for everyone. But, when you're, and then it wasn't even your idea. Somebody else even mentioned it to you, but you took action on the idea. You fill out the contact form. And so sometimes we have to just, take action and just see, like, throw spaghetti on the wall, see what will stick. And you know what? You said in the beginning, some people think it's a fad. Well, you know what? It's a business. And you, even if brush lettering is a fad, you pivot, you shift there. You know, once you're out there, once you're doing things, once you have experience, you can start doing so many other things. And for right now, I don't see it going away anytime soon.
And actually, I'm starting a watercolor technique class, sketching, drawing a different of mine that I knew she did oil pastels and stuff like that. And she's a portrait artist. She and her husband were our Sunday school teachers 22 years ago. She now has all of her children out of the house, and she has a studio, and she's a great artist. She teaches classes to homeschoolers. And she asked me to come and teach handwriting cursive to homeschoolers. So for the fall, I will actually be teaching handwriting, cursive, and some other fun stuff to high schoolers because they don't get it, you know.
Right. Yes.
And so it's opening up, and the winery, by doing that contact form and jumping out and, you know, just exposing myself for, I didn't know what, I prayed so hard before I hit send. That opens up weddings and events, which they do at their winery. They meet brides. Brides need envelope addressing. They need the gilded mirror. And that gilded mirror can be a seating chart or a program. And so when I go and meet her before the class to, you know, kind of lay out things, I can offer all my other services to the brides because that's a lucrative market.
It is.
It's not going to be a fad because brides will always happen. And, you know, that's why I take copperplate calligraphy classes, and I invest in learning more on watercolor and drawing and just composition and things of that nature. You know, join your local calligraphy guild. You know, ours is $25 a year.
I think ours is the same, like $25 a year. And it's so fun just to be around other lettering artists. And so I think a good takeaway from what you've been saying is start local. Like, don't feel like you have to have thousands of followers on Instagram to be successful.
Right.
You can start local and have a really highly successful and even profitable business because not everyone can be everywhere. And so you can become the expert in your town, in your area, for the brides in your area, you know? And so I love that because I think everyone listening, you have an opportunity right where you live and, or the surrounding towns that are within driving distance. Look there. Don't be just, you know, so focused on online or vanity metrics or, you know, these things that likes and followers and all these things that we get caught up in. Also make sure you're networking and connecting with your local area. But you did take my Etsy entrepreneur course. And so tell us just a little bit of what did that course do for you?
Oh my gosh, Shelley, that class was amazing because I'm not a technical person in the sense of I still can't figure out how to link up Linktree. Our dear friend Kim is going to help me after this set up my Linktree.
Okay, good. Get help, right? Get help.
Get help. Ask for help. I knew the possibilities on Etsy. I had shopped Etsy since it started. And so I knew the puzzle pieces. I just couldn't put it together. And so I took the class and had no idea about drop ship printers. I had no idea that one was in my backyard 12 miles away in Pelham. That's right. Yeah. And I went to them and I got samples and I just talked to them because I did like to, you know, just go in, hey, I'm Michelle, you know.
If you're 12 miles away, my goodness, why not?
And so I did, you know, learn that process. And then just the process of digitalizing my art. The two pieces that are above my shoulder, the two small ones and the large one, I actually have scanned in. and those are prints available on a coffee mug, a fanny pack,
Yeah.
whatever, is available. I make it available. And I haven't, really sold a lot of those. A lot of what I'm selling are my chalkboards. I'll reserve those, even if it's local. I'll reserve it on Etsy to build up my shop. But I do a ton of greeting cards. And a lot of times I'll do them freehand on, paper, pen, marker, watercolor. But a lot of times I'll do them in Procreate.
Yeah.
And I've got my next door neighbor is a digital graphic artist, and instead of paying for Photoshop, she's like, just send them to me. It's a 5-second process.
Yeah.
And so I'll just shoot her my designs, and she'll vector them for me and switch them over, the way that most printers like them. So just reaching out and asking, and I do ask her opinion a lot. What do you think of this? What can I change on this? And she helps because that's what she does for a living.
Yeah. Do you think it helped having just a community of people and just being able to know like other people are doing this and you can do this?
Yes. The course itself, again, gave me confidence. It gave me the knowledge, but then it gave me the support of other people taking the course. And then, of course, which you're invaluable. And I just cannot say enough about it because, and I'm a member of a few Etsy groups on Facebook, and I'm like, y'all, just take this course. Just take this course. Y'all have all these questions. And I'll say something like, I use a dropship printer. And they're like, what? What's that?
Yeah.
Come message me and I will teach you the ways, So it's just, there's so much knowledge out there that, I compartmentalize and I kind of set boundaries for myself, not meaning to. So when I see you on there saying, this is all you do, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. And I'm like,
yeah.
And so.
And I think for you, what I've seen is also, it's just like, just taking that step and investing in that course, investing in you, investing in your art, it really helped you to start to focus on that and to really start looking for what opportunities are available. And so sometimes there's just something amazing that happens when you just take that step of investing in your dreams, investing in yourself and your business. And, who knows, the sky really is the limit, and it'll just be exciting to see what God does. And we may have to bring you on again once things are in a different place for you. But if people want to connect with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Definitely Instagram. I have Bama Mom 474, which is a little bit of art, a little bit of essential oils, a little bit of family, a little bit of just my kookiness, because I am an extrovert. And so I never meet a stranger. And then I have Letters by Bama Mom is my art only. I may sneak a cute kid picture in there. My son just graduated and it was his birthday, so you're going to see
a
blonde-haired, blue-eyed kid, which, we call him, FedEx. But, I'll sprinkle some stuff in there, but more than likely it's just my stuff that I'm creating daily. And that's another thing. Do it daily.
I just read an article. Yes. I just read an article that said that even if you're not good at it, like creating for about 45 minutes a day will, scientifically has proven that it will increase your mood. It will change, things for you. And it's like, even if you're not good at it yet, and I found that
practice makes progress.
Yeah. But even and then when you are, it's like that consistent practice, that's the only way that you're really going to develop the skill. And like you said, showing the differences between the years, it's incredible for all of us that have been consistent. So thank you so much for sharing your inspiring story.
It was a pleasure.
Go check out Michelle, connect with her, message her, let her know you heard her on the podcast. Letters by Bama Mom. And Michelle, we're just excited to see where all of this takes you.
Thank you.
Any final words for our listeners?
just do it. I'll borrow from Nike.
Yes.
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But
Yep.
just do it.
Yep.
Even if it's a small step that they can do today. Go to your local library. Go to, if you have a winery or a arts and crafts store, go and offer your services. I went to a donut shop that's opening up the road, and I said, I'll do your chalkboard for your sidewalk if you'll feed me donuts.
Yeah.
They have a patio out back, and that would be the perfect place to do a class.
There you go.
So, you know, they're not losing anything except a couple of donuts.
Right.
Or so, dozen.
Yeah.
So, you know, whatever it takes to, you know, get the chalkboard done. But there was nothing. And what's so funny is my insurance agent is next door to them. And I worked there for a little while before I figured out the insurance wasn't for me. But she had told them after I left, y'all really need to capitalize on that. I pay for what she does for me. You just have to give her donuts.
Yeah.
But it's opportunity is out there. You just have to kind of wipe your eyes and clear, you know, the view.
Yeah. And you know, just take the step, even if you feel afraid, do it afraid. Like you said, just do it. In the beginning, yeah, be willing to do some barters, be willing to get your work out there for, you know, and to do things, make sure it's worth your while and make sure you're not spreading yourself too thin, but strategic partnerships is really where it's at, and relationships. So it sounds like you're doing a wonderful job at that. Keep that up. I know even if you just make one new relationship a month or two new, you know, it's like, it will just continue to snowball for you into opportunities that you can't even see right now. So,
well, I mean, we just started a new month. So print out a calendar and write something to do every day or once a week. Challenge yourself and hold yourself accountable. And, you know, it's on the calendar. You got to do it if it's on the calendar.
Yeah. And I just, we just launched a private Facebook group for Etsy Entrepreneur. And every Monday I'm starting a post called Courageous Artist and asking you to post one courageous thing you're going to do this week. And then Friday I check in with you. How'd it go? And so if you're
I'll have to join that.
Yeah. If you're in Etsy Entrepreneur, take advantage of that accountability and it's just the excitement that, you know, builds when you see what other people are doing. And it is so true. There is something very powerful that happens when you just take one small courageous step at a time, even if it's just like Michelle said, one small thing. Go do it today. We are cheering you on. And thank you so much for being here, Michelle. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Hey, YouTube friends. We're so glad that you're here. Make sure that you click the red subscribe button and then click the bell next to it to make sure that you're subscribed and that you'll get notifications when we post new videos for you. Before you leave, I wanted to share with you a free gift. I have a free training called How You Can Earn a Full-Time Income as an Artist, a $97 value for free, and you can sign up for that free gift at yourcreativeadventure.com/artist income. And if you've wanted to turn your passion for art into income, then this training is for you. So you're gonna learn 10 real life examples of what's working today to earn money as an artist. They're real life case studies. I'm gonna share with you how diversifying your income can help you grow your art business much faster. You may struggle if you're relying on one income stream only. You'll learn how to sell your artwork online, the specific partnerships you should consider as an artist, and 2 passive income streams that can be very profitable. And the cool thing is that artists that have taken this free training are getting results. For example, Valerie Lynn said 10 days after watching the webinar, she had already sold $400 worth of art. And Shannon Santa Maria said that after watching the webinar, she took the risk and took her work to a boutique and sold over half of her items What do you have to lose? There are so many opportunities for us as artists today. Sign up for free at yourcreativeadventure.com/artist income, and then let me know your takeaways and your results. Tag me at Your Creative Adventure. I can't wait to help you make money as an artist doing what you love. This is Shelly Hitz. Thank you so much for joining me in this free training.